Have you ever felt it? A profound sense of purpose coursing through your veins, a quiet knowing that you are walking a path that was uniquely carved for you. Yet, with this inner certainty often comes an unwelcome gravity. You notice that your light, your very essence, can sometimes attract those who live in shadow, individuals who feel compelled to challenge, to disrupt, to somehow diminish your journey. Our common understanding frames this as a battle, a conflict of good versus evil, expecting a dramatic, thunderous retribution for any transgression. But this view is born from a misunderstanding of power. The universe does not operate on a system of human revenge. It operates on a flawless system of energetic balance, of consequence as natural as a river flowing to the sea. What truly happens when someone attempts to disturb the journey of a soul deeply aligned with its purpose, what some might call a chosen one, is not a punishment, but a profound, inevitable, and often silent internal unraveling. The laws of nature itself are set in motion not to harm, but to recalibrate. Today, we will walk through the 9 undeniable energetic shifts that occur when someone interferes with a deeply aligned soul. This is not a list of cosmic punishments, but a roadmap to understanding the immutable laws of cause and effect, and a confirmation of the unshakable sanctuary you hold within. This journey of understanding begins with an affirmation of your own sacred space. Before we proceed, I invite you to join this community of seekers. If you resonate with this path of deeper awareness, consider subscribing, and together, let's illuminate the way. Now, take a deep breath. In the space below, I want you to claim your sovereignty. Type the words IAMMYOWNSTURY, and with each letter, feel that truth anchoring itself within your being. Let the world know that your peace comes from within. Assess first, there is the gas unraveling of their inner narratives. You've seen this in your own life, perhaps in a smaller way. Think of a time you told a small lie. It wasn't just the words you spoke, it was the effort required to maintain it. The mental energy spent remembering the details, the subtle anxiety of being discovered. The story becomes a fragile cage you must constantly reinforce. Now, imagine someone building their entire sense of self on a foundation of insecure stories. That they are the victim, that they are smarter, that their disruptive behavior is justified. When they direct this distorted energy at you, someone grounded in your own quiet truth, their fragile narrative collides with something solid and real. Your presence doesn't attack them, it simply is. And in the face of this authenticity, the threads of their self-deception begin to pull loose. They might find themselves forgetting the details of their own justifications. They might hear their own words echo back with a hollowness they can't ignore. Ancient wisdom teaches us that truth is like water. It is soft, yet it eventually wears away the hardest stone. Their inner world, built of brittle falsehoods, simply cannot withstand the persistent, gentle pressure of an authentic presence. This is not your action, it is the nature of reality itself, which always, eventually, bends toward what is true. Second, they encounter the unavoidable mirror of their own shadow. Have you ever been intensely irritated by a specific trait in someone else? Perhaps their arrogance, their need for attention, their passive aggression. Then, in a quiet moment of reflection, you had a startling realization. The very thing that provoked you was a dissound part of yourself. This is the mirror principle, a fundamental law of consciousness. You, in your alignment, become a flawless mirror for others. When someone acts against you out of jealousy, they are not truly seeing you. They are seeing the reflection of their own unrealized potential. When they criticize you with unfounded bitterness, they are tasting the poison of their own unhealed wounds. You do not need to say a word. Your calm, your focus, your refusal to be pulled into their drama amplifies the reflection. They are left alone in a room with an image of everything they refuse to confront within themselves. This experience is profoundly unsettling. They came to you seeking a fight, a reaction, a confirmation of their distorted worldview. Instead, they find only a silent, unwavering reflection of their own inner turmoil. It's a powerful, deeply uncomfortable catalyst for self-awareness. one that the universe provides when a soul is ready, but rarely is it a welcome one. Third, a vast withering of inauthentic connections begins to take place in their life. Think of the delicate ecosystem of a coral reef. It thrives in clear, sunlit water, vibrant and full of life. Now, introduce a pollutant, a persistent cloud of sediment. The delicate organisms can't breathe, the colors fade, the entire structure weakens. A person's relationships operate on a similar energetic principle. Those who operate from a place of gossip, manipulation, and negativity form bonds based on that shared pollution. They find comfort and validation in complaining about others, in a shared sense of victimhood, or in mutual envy. When such a person tries to contaminate your world and fails, because you do not engage, you do not react, they carry that toxic energy back with them. But something has shifted. Their attempt to poison your water has, in effect, concentrated the poison in their own. Their co-conspirators, their friends who thrived on the same low-frequency energy, may start to pull away. The drama they offer is no longer entertaining. It feels heavy, desperate. From a space of deep awareness, we find that like energy attracts like energy. When their vibrational output becomes increasingly chaotic and discordant after encountering your stability, they simply can't sustain the shallow connections they once relied upon. They find themselves in an ever-increasing state of isolation, not because anyone has abandoned them, but because the very frequency they are emitting no longer harmonizes with anyone, even those in their own tribe. Fourth, they experience an amplification of their internal noisy. Imagine being in a perfectly quiet room. At first, it's peaceful, but if you sit long enough, you begin to hear the subtle sounds, the hum of electricity, the creak of the house, the beat of your own heart. For a person at peace, this is a meditative experience. For a person in turmoil, the silence is deafening because it forces them to hear the noise inside their own head. When someone attempts to project their chaos onto you, they are essentially trying to make your world as loud and disruptive as their own. They are screaming into the wind, hoping for an echo. But you, as a grounded soul, are not a cavern of echoes. You are more like an open field. Their noise travels out and simply dissipates. Having spent all that energy with no external validation, no fight, no drama to latch onto, it all ricochets back inward. The anxieties they wanted you to feel are now doubly loud in their own mind. The insecurities they hope to trigger in you are now screaming for their own attention. It's the law of energetic conservation. Energy is never lost. It is merely transferred or transformed. By refusing to receive their chaotic transmission, you ensure it returns to its source, amplified by the frustration of its failed mission. Their inner world becomes a relentless storm, leaving them no place to hide from themselves. Fifth, they notice a stagnation of creative and synchronistic flow. You know that feeling when you're in the zone. Ideas come effortlessly. The right people call at the right time. Solutions appear for problems you were just pondering. This is the state of flow, a state of alignment with the creative intelligence of the universe. It's a dance of giving and receiving. Now, consider a person whose primary energetic output is disruptive, cynical, or harmful. They are not adding to the universal dance. They are actively trying to trip the other dancers. The laws of nature itself reveal a simple truth. You cannot dam another's river without stopping the flow in your own backyard. By focusing their life force on deconstruction, on envy, on critique, on undermining, they choke off their own channel to the creative source. Inspiration, which thrives on openness and wonder, cannot take root in a mind preoccupied with negativity. Synchronicities, which are the universe's way of winking at you and confirming you're on the right path, cease to appear because that path has been abandoned in favor of lurking in the shadows of someone else's. Their own life begins to feel dull, stuck, and repetitive. It's a spiritual drought, a direct consequence of choosing to poison the well instead of digging their own. Sixth, they face another exposure to unvarnished truth. Life provides us with subtle buffers, white lies, polite social agreements, the tendency for people to avoid confrontation. These things cushion us from blunt reality. A person living in a state of self-deception relies heavily on these buffers. Their reality is propped up by people who are unwilling to tell them the truth about their behavior. However, the energetic disruption they create by messing with an aligned soul has a curious ripple effect. It destabilizes their environment. It's like ringing a bell in a delicately balanced structure. Things begin to shift. The universe seems to conspire to remove their buffers. A colleague who has been silent for years might suddenly speak up with startling honesty. A friend might bluntly call out their manipulative behavior. A situation might unfold that forces them to see the factual consequences of their actions, with no room for subjective interpretation. You don't orchestrate this. It's that your own commitment to truth sends out a resonant frequency, and this frequency clarifies the energy fields of those around you. It's as if the world around this person is nudged by your presence to say, the time for games is over. It is time to look at what is real. This forced confrontation with raw, unfiltered truth is one of the most jarring and transformative experiences that can happen to a soul lost in its own illusions. Seventh, they begin the attraction of karmic mentors. The universe is an infinitely patient and efficient teacher. If a soul fails to learn a lesson in one form, the lesson will be presented again in another, often with greater intensity. When someone tries to make you the object of their unhealed lesson, be it about power, control, or self-worth, and you refuse to play the part, you are not denying them their lesson. You are simply declaring that you are not their classroom. The universe, in its wisdom, then says, very well, lesson still pending, and it dispatches a more appropriate teacher. These karmic mentors are people or situations that perfectly mirror the energy the person is projecting, but in a way they cannot dismiss or dominate. If they are a bully, they will meet a bigger, more strategic bully. If they are manipulative, they will find themselves entangled in the web of a master manipulator. They are forced to experience their own medicine. This is not cosmic cruelty, it is profound compassion. It is the universe providing the soul with exactly the experience it needs to see its own reflection clearly and to finally learn what it has been avoiding. You walking away in peace allows them to finally meet the teacher they were destined for. Eighth, they are guided toward the involuntary path of surrender. The human ego loves control. It builds elaborate plans, devises strategies, and tries to manipulate outcomes to serve its own sense of security. The person who messes with the chosen one is often deep in the grip of their ego. Their actions are a desperate attempt to control an external reality, to make you smaller so they can feel bigger. But a soul aligned with purpose is not easily controlled, because their guidance comes from a source far beyond the ego's reach. They are flowing with a powerful river, not fighting against it. As the aggressor's plans fail, as their manipulations are met with calm indifference, and as their attempts to sow chaos bear no fruit, a deep exhaustion sets in. They have used every tool in the ego's limited toolbox, and none of them have worked. They are confronted with a power that is not confrontational, a strength that is not aggressive. This is where surrender begins. It's rarely a choice. It's the moment when the ego, battered and spent, simply gives up. They are cornered by the undeniable failure of their own methods. They must let go, because holding on has become too painful. This breaking point, this involuntary letting go, is the necessary death of the old self before any true rebirth can occur. Finally, the ninth and most profound event is an invitation to true healing. This is the culmination of all the previous stages, and it is the part that is most often misunderstood. The ultimate consequence of messing with a soul that is deeply aligned is not suffering, but the opportunity to end suffering. After the unraveling of their narrative, the confrontation with their shadow, the loss of their shallow connections, and the failure of their ego, they arrive at a sacred wound. They hit a spiritual rock bottom, and here, in this place of utter desolation, lies the most fertile ground for growth. The universe has, with surgical precision, stripped away everything that is false, All that is left is the raw, hurting, authentic self that has been buried for years. From this space, a new choice becomes possible. They can either continue to blame the world, or they can turn inward and begin the difficult, beautiful work of healing. The final thing that happens is an open door. Your journey was the catalyst, but the choice to walk through that door is, and always will be, their own. This is the universe's ultimate act of compassion, not to punish, but to purify, offering even the most lost souls a path back to their own truth. So you see, your role in all of this is not to fight back, nor is it to wish for a particular outcome for another. Your role is simply to continue walking your path, to tend to your own light, to be the unshakable mountain, the clear river, the unwavering truth in a world of shifting illusions. Your alignment is your protection, your purpose is your guide, and your peace is the most powerful force you will ever wield. The journey to understanding these deeper currents of life is ongoing. It is a commitment you make to yourself, each and every day. By being here, you have already made that commitment. To continue to walk this path together, to deepen your own sanctuary of wisdom, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Let this be a promise to yourself that you will always honor the truth of your own soul. May your path be clear, and may your energy be your greatest shield.